Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When was the last time you made a decision, a real decision, without first running it through someone else's head? What would they think? Would they approve? Would they laugh? If you had to pause even for a second, this video is for you. Because here's what's actually happening inside your brain. Every time you live for someone else's opinion, you're not just losing confidence. You're quietly erasing yourself. One small compromise at a time. And the terrifying part? Most people don't realize it's happening until it's already too late. This isn't a video about being selfish. It's not about cutting people off or building walls around yourself. What I'm about to show you is backed by behavioral science. It's a complete mental reset. A way to pull your energy back from the noise of the world. And finally direct it toward the only person whose life you're actually responsible for. Yourself. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your brain keeps handing control to other people. The 3 invisible traps keeping you stuck. And 5 powerful shifts that will change how you move through the world. Permanently. Stay with me. This one matters. Here's a scenario. You're at work. You've got a brilliant idea. Your gut is screaming, say it. But then, in a fraction of a second, your brain runs a quick simulation. You imagine the faces in the room. The possible eye rolls. The silence after you speak. So you say nothing. That moment, that tiny, silent surrender, that is where your power leaks out. Psychologists call this anticipated social judgment. It's your brain predicting rejection before it even happens. And it's running this simulation dozens of times a day. Burning through your mental energy like a phone with 40 apps open in the background. You're not overthinking because you're weak. You're overthinking because your brain was literally wired to care about the tribe. 10,000 years ago, being rejected by your group meant death. Your brain still hasn't gotten the update. That a stranger's Instagram comment won't actually kill you. But understanding this is where your freedom begins. Some people don't live their life. They watch it. Through other people's reactions. Their mood in the morning depends on how many texts they woke up to. Their confidence at lunch depends on whether their boss smiled at them. Their entire emotional state is a mirror of how others treated them that day. If this sounds familiar, here's the hard truth. You've handed the remote control of your inner world to people who don't even know they're holding it. A friend of mine, smart, driven, early 30s, once admitted something. She said, "I've spent my whole career dressing for rooms I haven't even walked into yet." She wasn't talking about fashion. She was talking about shrinking herself in advance. Before anyone even asked her to. That's the mirror trap. And it costs you more than you think. This is subtle. This one gets even the most self-aware people. You're alone in your apartment. No one is watching. But you still perform. You rehearse what you'll say tomorrow. You replay what you said yesterday. You craft the perfect version of yourself. For an audience that doesn't exist. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network. The part of your brain that switches on the moment you stop focusing on a task. And left alone, it almost always drifts toward one thing. Social evaluation. What people think. What people said. What people might think tomorrow. You're never truly alone when the invisible audience is running. Here's how it works. Someone praises you. Your brain releases dopamine. It feels good. So your brain starts chasing that hit again. And slowly, without noticing, your behavior starts bending. Not toward what you actually want, but toward whatever gets you the next dose of approval. It starts small. You laugh at a joke you didn't find funny. You agree with an opinion you don't hold. You post the photo that performs, not the one that feels real. And then one day, you're sitting across from someone who loves you. And you realize you don't know what you actually think about anything. Because you've been outsourcing your opinions for so long. There's nothing left to call your own. That's the approval addiction loop. And breaking it requires more than just willpower. It requires rewiring. Remember that brain simulation we talked about, where you predict judgment before it happens. Here's how you short-circuit it. The moment you catch yourself imagining what someone else thinks, immediately ask yourself one question. Is this happening right now? Or am I writing fiction? 90% of the time, you're writing fiction. Your brain is generating a story with no basis in reality. And once you name it as fiction, its power drops immediately. Neurologically, this technique activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational, reasoning part of your brain, and quiets the amygdala, which is your alarm system. You're not suppressing the anxiety. You're just fact-checking it. Most people only track wins that other people can see. Promotions, followers, compliments. But here's what nobody tells you. Your brain builds deep, lasting confidence from private wins. Things you did when nobody was watching. And nobody clapped. You woke up early and worked on your craft. No one saw it. You kept a promise to yourself. On a day it would have been easy to quit. No one noticed. Start keeping score of those moments. Write them down if you have to. Because when your self-worth is built on private wins, public opinion loses most of its grip. You stop needing the crowd to confirm what you already know about yourself. This sounds simple. It is. And it works. When your mind is spiraling about what someone thinks of you, you are living entirely in your head. Abstract, imaginary, uncontrollable. The fastest exit is your own body. Feel the floor under your feet. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Take one slow, deliberate breath, and focus on the physical sensation of it. This isn't just relaxation advice. This is interoception, the brain's ability to sense the internal state of the body. Research from the University of California shows that interoceptive awareness directly reduces the intensity of social anxiety by grounding your nervous system in present-moment reality. When you're in your body, you can't fully be inside someone else's imaginary opinion of you. The two states can't coexist. This one will feel uncomfortable at first. Most people who struggle with caring too much about others have one habit in common. They over-explain. Every decision comes with a disclaimer. Every choice needs a defense. Every boundary requires a 3-paragraph justification. Here's what that behavior is really communicating. I need your approval to feel okay about this. Start making small decisions without explaining them. Order what you actually want at the restaurant, not what looks most acceptable. Cancel plans when you genuinely need rest, without the elaborate excuse. Take up space in a conversation, without apologizing for your presence. Each time you do this, you're sending a message to your own nervous system. My choices are valid on their own. They don't need a vote. Over time, that becomes a belief. And that belief becomes your default. This is the hardest one. And also the most liberating. There is a version of you that exists in every person's mind. And that version is wrong. It's built from their own filters, their own wounds, their own assumptions. You cannot correct every misreading. You cannot manage every perception. The energy you spend trying to control how people see you is energy you are stealing from the person you are actually becoming. Some people will misread your confidence as arrogance, your boundaries as coldness, your focus as indifference. Let them. A tree doesn't explain itself to the wind. It just grows. The people who are meant to understand you will. Not because you performed correctly, but because you showed up honestly. Here's what the science and the philosophy agree on. You will never find yourself in other people's opinions. Not because those opinions are wrong, but because you were never in there to begin with. Think of your attention like a flashlight. Every time you shine it outward, checking reactions, scanning for judgment, adjusting your behavior to manage perceptions, you are standing in the dark. The moment you turn that light inward, toward your values, your vision, your own quiet voice, everything changes. Not overnight, but gradually. Something solidifies inside you. A kind of groundedness. That no comment, no criticism, no silence from someone you wanted to hear from, can shake. That's not arrogance. That's not isolation. That's maturity. And it might be the most radical thing you can do, in a world that profits from your insecurity. So here's where I'll leave you. Tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself this one question. And be honest. How many of today's decisions were actually mine? Not your parents'. Not your followers'. Not your coworker you're still trying to impress. For no reason. Yours. If the answer is uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is your compass, pointing toward freedom. You don't have to overhaul your life tomorrow. Start with one choice. One moment where you don't explain yourself. One decision you make without checking anyone's face afterward. That's how it begins. If this video hits somewhere real for you, leave a comment below. Even just one word. That describes how you're feeling right now. I read every single one. Hit like if this is the kind of content you want more of. And subscribe. Because next week we're going even deeper. Into something most people never talk about. Why self-discipline actually gets easier. Once you stop caring about being seen. You don't want to miss that one. I'll see you there.